Sense
right.
to me.
So I know like holding the spot is like the standard spot.
Sure.
Does that change at all with the Zarya? Or should I like drop differently so that I'm like, should I like drop earlier so that I take more damage for the Zarya, or should I like not drop on like the right, like from the
Yeah, so here's
like
the
on the
thing.
front side or the back side of the bridge?
The Zarya wants you to get her energy as quickly as possible, right? Like she
Right.
wants within a few seconds of the opponent showing up to have some energy from you, so you need to give her something. If you hold up here, that might mean you have to drop down here and start zapping, and then you're basically immediately gonna have to hop back up. But that's fine, because can the opponents push just because you spent Zarya Bubble and Winston Leap?
No.
Not
Yeah.
really, so that's fine. Whereas if you wait here for the opponents to walk into your kill box, Zarya's gonna get antsy, and Zarya isn't really getting to do poke, and Zarya isn't gonna play the game at 8 energy. Zarya's gonna go find something else to go do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, you do want to be conscious of that, as long as it's not something that's just going to get you blown up. And you can actively desync yourself from your Zarya if you play like this, because again, she just won't wait. So that's likely something that's happening. If you see that you have the Zarya, sometimes you do have to play a little bit more like, I am pretend Reinhardt. Okay, I'm no longer pretend Reinhardt, but like,
Right.
4, 3,
Right.
2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Together, we
and
can
they're
solve
not
any
willing to round the
problem.
corner, so she's probably fishing for her personal. You do this, and I kind of see exactly what happened here. I mean, obviously it's not great that Tracer got picked here. This isn't great, but let's rewatch this from your team's perspective. I actually think that's going to be useful already, where this fight is happening. Or excuse me, they're rotating, we have a poke phase. They're correct. These guys are like, hey, we don't really want to show ourselves until our monkey creates some sort of distraction for us. What they're doing isn't the worst thing in the world. I'd obviously much prefer that my Cassidy was over here, but you know what? I'm fine. This isn't really bothering me. Okay, so it's not great. Your Tracer went in when he thought you were in. He just kind of gets picked. That's not fantastic. These guys open the angle and do this, and we can see that your team is going to be. We can already see that they're a little bit more on the slow side to sort of react to you going in there. They're not anxious, like sitting here pre-poking, and then when you go and it turns enhanced, they're going to be slow to go in general. So your engagements might have to be super obvious for their sake. Does that sort of make sense?
So how would you like what do you mean by obvious? Like what would you do here instead?
Sure. So this is totally fine for the first fight because you don't know your team yet, right? But if I have to hold this point again, I'm probably looking at this from a perspective of I'm just going to stand here and I'm going to like waddle my way forward and zap, trusting that I'm going to get that Zarya bubble, and then I'm going to leap out. I could, if I wanted to make it incredibly obvious to my team, just try to go, rah, jump on them and bubble and do all that stuff. I could, and I'd probably get the Ana support. I'd probably get the Zarya bubble. I might be fine. My Tracer wanted to go pretty hard, but I don't really want to do that because if I've used my bubble and I've used my leap, then I'm just in a place where this doesn't feel, this is too, okay, well, if it doesn't work, we've lost the first team fight and I don't, like, we've hard lost the first team fight and I don't want to tilt my team. So I have no issue with how you opened here, but I'm already adjusting to my team a little bit. I expect them to adjust to me some.
Yeah.
I'm going to adjust to them some. No big deal.
I literally had it in my head at the start when I was like on these stairs. I'm like looking at my team and I'm like, they're pretty far back, and me and Tracer are pretty far up.
Right.
This could be bad.
And if that's the case, honestly, if I see that they're that far back as late as you did, I might have just let these guys in. I might have just said, forget it, I'll go here, because then their reaction time is going to be a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Or I might even wait until I see my Zarya start to peak. Now my Zarya is peaking. Now I'll go in. Now I'll go in. That sort of thing.
That makes sense. Yep.
So I was worried about this. I didn't comment on the King's Row example that you sent me because I thought it was mostly fine, but there was something I was worried about here, and I'm worried about it here too. Cool. This is cool, right? We're cleaving people. We're going to get out with plenty of health. We like this, right?
Sure.
What the fuck are you doing? Is your team fighting?
No.
So,
It
congratulations.
goes from like being up there,
What's that?
right? Like it kind of comes from being the one up there, and everybody else
Sure.
had backed up, and I was already set up there.
Sure.
And so
So you either
this is
need
kind of what I was talking about. Like I kind of like knew that like I went in by myself here.
right.
I just like
So you either
I don't
needed
know.
to wait for your engage until these guys got to here, where your backlight, or at least here, you know, where they're about to break the thing, like, but preferably till they got to here where they broke the threshold. It's not my favorite engagement though, because Zarya can't give you squat, right? Like if you guys engage these guys from here, so that could happen. Or you might have just said, there's a hog coming around on me, these guys are here, fine, I'm just gonna leap out and leave. I'm gonna hold my Winston bubble, and I'm going to leap out and leave, and now we'll walk back up through here, and I'll fight these guys from the front. It's not my favorite to fight them from the front, but I'll get my Zarya bubble, I'll get my Ana healing. I have the comp that allows me to fight these guys from the front, and if I fight them here, again, my team can't do squat, and I have now... Like, these are good openings for your DPS to get kills, except that you know that your DPS don't really have sight lines, and now you aren't. Now you're off cycle, and now the opponents get to push pretty easily for free.
Yep,
So,
yep.
not our favorite. Okay. Sure. Unfortunate timing on that bubble. You really only have one more shot to do anything. This is it. Now you just wait.
That's kind of what I mean. Just like a completely out of sync fight.
Oh, completely. And you want to think, are things messing with my are my teammates' sightlines allowed to contribute? And you're playing. You are totally correct that where you played Winston from is a pretty standard place to play Winston from. But you have an Ana and a Zarya, and you can be pretty abusive if you have an Ana and a Zarya, but not if they can't see you. Zarya will find something else to do with her bubble, and Ana will go, I guess I'm taking offensive shots.
I thought all of these things like as the fight was happening, and I just didn't know like the proper reaction because I'm just like, this is where I set up, and like they're not here. Like,
and and you're totally fine. But now you recognize what was the proper reaction when your team was back on point and the opponents were there.
Right. I should have just completely like not taken the fight at all.
Right. You just leave and
completely.
Go, I will take like, we've surrendered a little bit of space, but we've already surrendered this space, so I'll set up for the next choke. And I can get there. I can do something silly like this, but then Zarya and Ana have sightline on me, or more likely, I go like this, circle through, and I'm fighting this corner, pop out, we're good. Cool.
Basically do what I did after I jumped out, but with a bubble.
You got it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Online.
Okay, you have a diva now. That's fine.
Yeah, this didn't go very well either.
It didn't, but where should you have already set up? You're coming back from spawn.
Diva online.
Let's go like this.
Where should I've already set up?
You're coming back like this. They capped first. Cart is moving, but Cart hasn't broken the door yet. Do you have time to get a forward position?
I can set up on the high ground to my front left right now.
Yeah, you can set up over here, and you're going to be pretty safe setting up here, right? You have cover options. Your Ana can see you perfectly fine from right here. You threaten them from a different angle, and you have time that you leaping here isn't going to get a bunch of people to leap up you when you caught without your leap cooldown. By the time other people get here, you'll have your leap back, right?
Yeah, I could set up there for sure.
Right. So we'd have liked to do that.
I think I was just like
you're shell-shocked after the last fight. Oh, okay. Fair, fair.
Just like sitting here waiting, basically.
Yeah, and I want to use that time a little bit better. Now it's a little dicier to go take that forward high ground because the opponents, you know, Hog might be able to walk out far enough to hook you, for example.
Right. And see, like, now I'm not engaging without the Ana.
Right.
And I'm just gonna sit up here. And we give them half the point.
You absolutely did, yeah.
I guess, like, if I go on the forward position, that might help this.
Absolutely does. I'll show you what happens. So we'll do this. And you haven't lost your person to the echo yet? Okay, good. So I'm going to pretend that you're here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wait for that echo to boop up. Hog's over there. No problem. You're probably aware of that. Cool. Anna's over there. Oh, that's happening. Well, now you have a decision to make. I don't like that Echo Mercy, it's about to be Echo Mercy, are fighting my Anna, but I very much have the option, if I want, of jumping into this and fighting this, and I might not get Anna heals, but I can probably live with not getting Anna heals because this Echo is paying attention to my Anna, right? So, like, I can go engage down here, and I make these more threatening. I'm really not in any danger from this Anna or soldier. Fair?
Yeah, I can, especially because the 2 tanks are just like in another world right now.
Right.
So I can definitely engage here.
And I don't plan on getting any kills out of this engage. My team isn't really backing up this engage, but this engage needs to happen to try to protect my Anna, right?
Right.
And that's fine. So it'll be a light engage. I might still have to spend my bubble, but I'll go do that. I'll fight for a bit, and then I'll leap out. Or maybe I'll leap out. Probably I'll leap out over here, but that's, all that we're looking at here. Instead, this happens. Maybe they didn't need help from these backliners here, but I bet there's what do you know? Shoot. We had ourselves a pretty nice 2v2 where we were favored if that Echo still left to go fight your Anna like she did. You see how this all works?
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
Okay, well, you got our Anna, but we got yours too, sort of thing. So, yeah. You can't just squat against these. I mean, you're right at this point to peel them, given where you already are, but
Finishing them off.
you can't go into that. And you have to surrender space, because this Echo's going to come back up, and she has too much support, you can't fight her.
I fucking tried.
You did. And she got scared of the electric mosquito tennis racket thing and she left. But hey. Okay. So talk to me about your backline.
This is such a poorly timed engage.
Oh, of course it is. And why is it poorly engaged?
The only thought process here is, holy fuck, they took half of it and I didn't even touch the payload. I'm going. Like,
Yep.
It was.
But the reality is they already won.
Engage.
They already won the last fight, and now you're rushing your second fight where, I mean, maybe this is okay because your teammates are fighting the Echo Mercy. Maybe, but like, really a couple seconds from now, this is going to be a lot better because really, these guys aren't helping very much. Okay, no big.
Sterben nicht.
Excuse me for dropping in.
So what should you be thinking right now? What should you be looking to do? You don't have bubble for 6 seconds. What's that? You can't get on the Anna right now. How are you going to get on the Anna? You have 6 seconds without your bubble cooldown.
Well, I wouldn't drop off the high ground for 6 seconds.
So what are you doing for 6 seconds?
Standing on the high ground.
Okay, so we need to be using this time to rotate to get a better position. So we have a better situation 6 seconds from now than we do now, or we need to shoo someone away. Like we might just go, hey, maybe I'm going to threaten this Mercy a little bit, whatever the case may be. I've got 6 seconds. The truth is I could jump up at her and do nothing and be annoying and land. That's not amazing, but I could do it because it's going to take me that long to get my bubble back anyways. It's probably not what I'd pick, but it's the sort of thing where I might be looking at that going, is anyone going to hit a shot? Is there a whip shot hit? Is there an Anna shot hit? That sort of thing. Or I'm thinking to myself, do I want to rotate down over here? Do I want to rotate over here so that I'm creating a new angle on these guys? What do I want to do? Because right now I can't fight Anna. Do I want to try and fight someone who isn't Anna and isn't Roadhog? Like, can I drop over here and zap people? Well, no, I'm probably going to get Anna'd or hogged, but that's what we're thinking about. Make sense?
I guess I just thought this position was a good enough like staging point because
Okay.
I can drop on at least somebody in range, or I can shoot from the high ground, or
Okay.
like.
So
I guess I just thought this was a good enough spot to engage.
I can live with
Should
this
have
engagement
definitely
spot.
waited 3 seconds.
Yeah, you should have. Okay, we'll deal.
Yeah.
I would have liked to look for, is there something I can do? Even if you just were like, let me scout, let me hop and see Anna's over there. Let me check on the Mercy to see if anyone's purpled her or something. Let me, let me look for something to do. But that's fine. You're going to go do this.
Yeah, this engagement spot's so much better with the bubble right there. Like,
Yes.
everybody here is sealed off from the Ana heals. I still have primal to target the soldier.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would have liked the engage from hero even better because you still do have this primal and, that matters. But yeah, this works.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Maybe I will.
Sure.
Step right.
Adjusting angle of attack.
Fine. She's free.
There they are.
Good.
Oh, this is so ballsy.
Leave. Okay, leave. Oh. So now you have to get out of here. You're going to leave. Yeah, go. You should be okay. Good. Fine.
Yeah, it was a little ridiculous, and
Barrier activated.
The problem
was
is
dumb.
you almost recovered from it, but you having to use this bubble here means you didn't recover from it.
yeah,
Uh,
I know. Yeah.
Yep. That's fine. And that's a Roadhog, I just don't want to go that way. I look at that Roadhog and I could try to peel him if I think I've got a lot of people that are going to peel him right now. Good. Right decision.
I don't think I should have used jump there.
I'm going to be honest, I can actually sort of live with the jump, but you needed to immediately 180 and zap Mercy. Like, this needed to be a jump that didn't land Anna, but instead landed here, and you zap Mercy and go, Mercy, you're either going to leave, and I'm going to fight Anna, or you're going to go to Anna, and I'm going to cleave the two of you. That's what this needed to be.
I think I jumped thinking that my Tracer and I could target the Ana. Like, I jumped seeing the Tracer targeting Ana, and I tried to just, like, target the same target.
Yeah, no,
I would do more damage to Ana if I, like, shoot the Mercy.
Right.
As well as the Tracer was slept. But I just didn't see the Tracer.
I'm not really worried about it. You went in because your Tracer was in. Your Tracer's been playing pretty deep. Makes sense to me. And you went, hey, the backline is who I'm supposed to be fighting. My Tracer's already in. I'm not really worried about this. We can micro it to be better, but...
Yeah. Yeah, it really just sucks that the Tracer got slept, because we could have definitely gotten a kill there with the Tracer.
Sure.
Excuse me for dropping in.
You didn't need that 300 health anyway. Okay.
Yeah, that peak was just kind of like a waste, huh?
Not a big deal. You're gonna walk. Okay.
I think I take those like peak leaps like way too often, or the peaks that like give me minus 300 damage, and then I like a lot of healers just won't heal you up fast enough, and then I'm out for too long.
Right, because there's other things that they want to be doing. Now, in this time, you're in your spawn room, so it doesn't matter that much other than having given them some ult charge. But we would look at this one and we'd mostly say to ourselves, you're coming out of here, and you go over here, and I don't love that you go over here because I expect all of the enemy's attention to be on the left side right now because I was just here and I can see where my teammates are, right? So...
Right door would have been better.
Right, because the enemy's eyeballs, they're more likely to be over here, looking over here. Right door is like you have less places to go from right door, but you can jump on the back line. You can creep your way over here. Exactly.
Excuse me for dropping in.
Go. I keep you here.
Set there. Good. Oh, let's fix that. Okay. I'm not worried about that. Sigma's being a good Sigma. You ideally
Yeah,
would have stayed a
yeah.
little further back for Sigmas, for Sonic Arrows, that sort of thing. Not a huge deal. You have to anchor. It sucks to use your primal to anchor. Yeah, I was gonna say this is a pretty aspirational primal, but you're just finding it. Like I still want to figure out why you're alive here. So you leave the whole hog with half health. You jump on this with nothing but a prayer of primal. You go for your primal while being gunned down by a soldier. I guess. Okay, the hog's still busy over there. Their tanks are in front. Oh, he went for, okay. He went for that reload. Did he have to go for that reload? Yeah, he did. Okay, that's fine.
I don't know if I remember that the soldier was shooting me. I might not have even noticed that. The Sigma wasn't like intentional move, but the Roadhog was just complete luck.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. You tied up their back line. You killed both their front line. What we were looking for. Oh.
Somehow they didn't kill me.
It was close. It was a close thing. A better soldier would have, but a better mercy would have helped it happen too. But hey. Good. Yeah, so this you still want to be careful of. You're going in here. I know what you're doing. Cool. He's running from you and he has sprint going. Are you in any danger?
No. I think the thought here was before I I knew if I pushed up like that, it's like pretty hard engage.
Mm-hmm.
Because if like the team is there, obviously I'm fucked.
Right.
So that was why I like hesitated when I saw the soldier and I was like looking around trying to see if there was anybody else. And I think I just dropped this bubble because I didn't think I'd need it. I think you're right. Like, I don't think this is a good bubble.
It's not. Maybe you thought the Anna was still over here or something, like she was in the last fight, or there was something in here, or maybe you thought there was a bunch of people that were going to shoot you down at this sight line. But I think you just went leap in, drop bubble. And I want to be careful with those because this isn't a duel, but it's basically a duel. And in your duels, you should be pretty darn aware of, hey, you need to have your bubble as an option to separate him from his healing station, as an option to mess up his helix timing, as multiple things. So now you can't do anything. Now he can literally stay there and force you back. You have to wait on this. Cool. Flight just ended. Go get your kill. Fine.
Watching your back. Adaptive circuits engaged.
And this is...
You are very lost.
I just completely feed here.
Oh, boy.
Okay, like, this is the kind of shit that I get... This is like the poke kind of shit that I keep talking about. Like, I just take a fuckload of poke damage, and then I am completely lost after that, because there's not really any cover that I can go to, like, and get healing. Like, I just got, like, really lost, and...
You're over here. You're fine. Like, you are totally fine right now. I don't like the stickies, don't get me wrong, but you're still at 300 health, and you have a bubble coming up here. So the only thing I don't want you to do is jump into a big group of the enemies or fight in a place where both groups can see you. There's currently a group of enemies over here and a group of enemies over here. I don't want you to jump on this group because you'll die, and I don't want you to just stay here where both groups can shoot at you. So what do I want you to do?
So I just take the echo damage and like zone her off as best I can.
Yeah, jump up here, fight her, drop your bubble, try to keep her out, whatever, but like that's the best you can do right now.
Yeah. I just like kept trying to avoid poke by running away from the poke and ran into more poke.
You ran yourself right into the crossfire of like
yeah. And then I feed.
Yeah.
This was like my diva instincts for some reason. Like I heard the visor and I was like, oh, I gotta matrix it, and then I didn't have matrix.
Our matrix is called Bubble, but yeah.
Miracle of silence.
Yeah, but you can see what I meant. Like I was just like
Oh, absolutely.
very out of sync the whole game, like just really out of sync.
You were. No, you absolutely were. But we can fix it. You decide you can't hold that anymore, which is fine. Looking at my back line. This is a little dicey. Yeah. So I don't love this because it's kind of worthless. What you do here is you go, it's time to engage, and I'm going to engage, and I'm going to drop my bubble to engage. Okay, I'm with you so far. You're dropping your bubble to engage, but you don't expect to get a kill off of this bubble. Your backline isn't set up. You don't have a Tracer over here, a Casty over here. You don't have anyone set up to really follow up on this aggressive push that you're making, right?
Is this an aggressive push?
Well, it's not like a deep aggressive push that you're making, but you are choosing to go, I was holding here, and now I'm taking a little bit more space. I'm leaving my protection of my cover, and I'm getting more aggressive. It's a small push, but it's a push. Yes? Yeah. So, by doing this, you now know when this bubble expires, you're not going to be able to hold here anymore, are you?
Right. So I should have just held this like right where you're at right now and just like waited.
I actually do want that to happen because I want these guys to push in harder. I want these guys to either try to overwhelm you, to try to run around, to try to come above. If this Sigma's fighting from right here, your team's going to have fun with him, right?
Yeah.
If the hog comes around over here...
Scared.
Yeah, I totally realized that you got scared, but I wanted you to... If you get aggressive like this, I want your team to be able to take space, or I want your team to already have angles where they can do something, where Tracer can come in from behind, where Casty can have a 90-degree angle, whatever. This literally just caused you to go, you forced the fight about 2 seconds early, and your team is going to contribute. Your team might get a pick during this, but you see how these guys are able to do it in a safer manner? These guys are mostly able to fight just you without really extending themselves. Like, yes, your team can take some shots, but... And now... Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
You just surrendered all this space. And you're right to surrender this space because you can't hold this anymore. But you could hold this while you had your bubble.
Yeah. Like if instead I let them all come on me and then I drop bubble and I like bubble dance and jump out when I need to, then we actually like everybody can shoot at them and someone's gonna die and then we'll take the space back eventually.
You also might jump over here instead of directly towards your team, but you know, I'll deal. Okay.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Do you think that's fine?
What else are you going to do? I mean, it's not good, but the problem is you look at this, we see what's happening, we're down people, right? Like, we're currently losing this fight. Can you, if you fight frontline, you slow the fight down, but you're trading nano to slow the fight down. That's not really good enough, I don't think, in this situation. I think you're too far behind. So yeah, I look at this and I say, I feel like I'm going to lose this fight if I don't trade someone, because maybe it's not actually as bad as I think, but this felt like you were pretty far behind in this fight and you had to trade someone.
Yeah.
So you're going pretty aggressive.
That's my question, because I got nano and I didn't expect it, and I didn't really want it.
Yeah.
And I don't know in that situation if it's like, fuck it, you have to get value out of the nano. It's that valuable of an ult. You just have to go in and try and make something happen, because if you just sit there, you just wasted like one of the best ults. Or if it's like, oh, she nanoed me, that was a stupid nano, and then I just like sit there and stay safe.
Well, she may get value out of this. She may go, I nanoed you, so I didn't have to heal you because I've got some high value offensive shots that I want to take right now, right? So sometimes the nano really is for her more than you, and that's fine, and your job is not to feed off of it. She's literally going, I don't want my team to collapse. I don't want my team to collapse while I go do this thing that's going to win the fight. And she's perfectly allowed to do that. But what you run into is, how far back do you think you are in this fight? Do you think you're currently in this fight in a place where you lose if you don't trade someone out? Or do you think you're in this fight in a place where, hey, maybe we're down a person, but we can just slow this fight down? It's not great to use nano like this. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting killed.
Then if that's how you
Like
feel,
losing Sigma is such a big deal in this specific point.
yeah.
And then they like res Echo, and yeah, we're in really bad shape.
Right. So you're at a place in your mind where you've lost if you don't take a little bit of a risk. So you're choosing to take a risk, and a risk where you don't have a clean out, but it's not a
Yeah. Okay.
100% feed risk either.
So, like outside of this specific fight, just like in general, when you get like, if I get nano and I don't really expect it, should I just like really try and be a lot more aggressive and risky because I need to get value out of the nano, or should I just kind of like you said with primals, like kind of use it to make like a normal play more like better?
So you don't have control of the nano, but the ideal would still be to make a normal play better. That said, you aren't necessarily going to jump on Anna's. You don't jump on Anna's without bubble. Like if you have to play with their tanks in the front line because you don't want to get slept and just ignored for 5 seconds in their back line, that's what you're going to have to do, right? Like you don't jump on Anna's without sleep.
That's all I meant was just like, should I just like, because I've seen like other coaches and shit with like Reinhardt that have said you get nanoed and you just gotta like swing for the fucking fences. Like you gotta like go for it.
If you get a terrible nano, because that, keep in mind, sometimes with her nano, she literally is propping you up while she does something else. And I would not give that advice to a Reinhardt. My advice to a Reinhardt would be, you go, oh, I got a nano. That's cool. I'm not ready to go in, so we're not going in. Winston, that's less true with. Winston's a little more likely to go, I'm going to force it when it's a little questionable, but you still aren't going to.
I totally follow. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Because I think in the past I've done that even in times where I like wasn't down in the fight, and I just to try and make value out of the nano. And I don't.
You just saw the rock. What's happening? That's not our favorite. So what you did here, this was a little bit shallow.
Once more into the breach.
Maybe you felt like you didn't have a choice. But I'm looking at this dive, and I want to get a little bit more behind these guys, a little bit more to turn them around. I think you might have been thinking, I'm going to compromise. I'm going to be in front of my team. If you still have the Zarya, maybe. But I want to be a little bit deeper in this, actually, because I'm looking at this and going, what are we going to do? Like, I can't back out of this fight. Maybe you're thinking you can back out over here. Let's look at this from above and sort of show you what I mean. You kind of put yourself here, and maybe you're going to be able to back out of that, but this is going to get blown up like right away when it's in front of the whole enemy team, right?
I mean, don't I just get blown up right away if I'm on like the soldier right now?
Probably, yeah. But that's the engage that you've chosen to make. So if you're back here, where I'm drawing, but you can't see. If you're more back here, where you can zap at the soldier or the Ana, these guys are probably going to turn around and blow you up, and that's absolutely going to suck. And I would prefer potentially that we have a softer engage. But how are you going to back out of this engage? What are you going to accomplish with this engage? Maybe that's the better question.
Well, contesting cart, and so I back out to behind the cart.
Okay, so you're just going to contest the cart. That's fine.
And then I primal so that I don't die. Like,
there
wasn't really anything else.
Fine. So you're just in, I'm going to slow down the cart territory. That's fine with me. I'm not really going to have an issue with that. I was looking a little bit more for can I go deeper here? They're all going to turn around for me, but as they all turn around for me, my Ana, my Sigma, they get shot in the back sort of thing, and your bubbles will tend to last longer, and you will have more of, hey, we've, split them up, etc. This is sort of a do or die fight. You're choosing the other route. I'm going to live with that. Sure.
My Ana's just a hero here.
Yeah, trying.
Just trying to make the fight not lost.
Oh!
Look at her go, man. Look at her go.
Nano on cooldown. Great. Fine.
Like jumping this way now makes much more sense. Like there's to me at least. It makes much more sense because now there's, a whole hog less of things to shoot me.
Absolutely.
And so now I'm like fully on board. I just like feel like I would have just gotten blown up even faster before, but
So
yeah,
you probably would have. It really becomes a question of, do you feel you need to, how do I want to put this? Do you feel like you were at a point, we can go back to the last fight, that's fine. Maybe. Maybe we'll get there. Okay, we're coming out of here.
Once more into the breach.
The payload is approaching its
We're looking to
destination.
maximize time off the clock. Okay, fine. We're just going to do that. But if we're saying, no, we need to win this fight, we need to get trades, we need to do that sort of thing, you guys still have 5 people here. We're potentially still in a place of trying to win the fight rather than just trying to stall. And if I want to win the fight, I can try to wait for a better opening. That's on the table. Don't get me wrong. But I'm really in this place where if I jump in front of the Sigmund the Hog,
Ultra 76, reporting
my bubble is
duty.
going to break instantly. Like, your bubble
Yeah,
on
yeah.
landing is already half gone. If you jump behind them, the same thing might happen to you, and that might suck. But right now, they're in a place where it's a little less likely to happen to you because the hog is a little less likely to turn for you. And also, you're in a place where if all of the opponents are turned like this, you still have cross-healing issues for their Ana because you've dropped the bubble in the middle of them, and you have greater ability for your Ana to get her nade in there, for your Sigma to get his in there. We're looking for a little bit more of an aggressive trade type thing. Now, this is fine. I don't at all hate what you did here. It really becomes are we trying to drive to turn this fight a little more? And
Yeah.
I think it's fine to stall it, especially because they have their Valkyrie going right now, and you don't expect to be able to actively turn this.
Yeah.
I might have looked to say,
maybe it's better if you're gonna do that strategy to just jump behind the payload. Like, just don't even like try and get in front of the hog and Sigma. Just like go straight to the back of the payload and just like sit there as long as you can.
That's kind of where I'm going. I was looking at this and I was actually surprised you engaged at all because that Valk's not going to last forever. And like, yeah, you just jump here and
Yeah.
go, when Hog chases me around, I'll drop a bubble and we'll just sort of dance and we'll do that. And now
Yeah.
Valk's over. Oh, cool. Let's go in.
Yep. That's like the better. And then I probably don't have to use mana or use rage. Actually, might have survived here.
Very
We saw that. Okay. So I can't do a ton about him. I'm worried about contesting the card, but I am a little interested in what the backline is doing right now. Because, I couldn't zap him, couldn't do any of this. Oh, there's an echo over here, but that's fine. You're choosing to anchor while doing this. You can't do anything for 7 seconds. You get healed at all, you'll go. Okay.
activate.
Are you really the anchor? Yeah, you are. I'll deal. I'll just be bored.
I know, man. It's like, what else do you do?
No, you're right. Now that your Sigma's here, I wanted you when you got animated to go. Because even though you were only at like 300 health, you'd gotten the animate and you had your bubble available to you. And things weren't likely to get better than that. But your Sigma wasn't on
Yeah.
point yet. So. Right.
I jumped there to feel for Ana, basically.
Yeah, no, that was fine.
I need healing.
The Ana was just a fucking hero.
Yeah,
Thank
the
God
Ana's,
they didn't go on any flanks there, because
And is holding stuff together.
the Ana was like 3 heroes there.
She was, but you're playing passive. You see this again, not in general, but right here, you see this again. You've walked to here and you've decided this is where you want to hold. Maybe you're doing this because you want to pull attention away from Tracer, and I can live with that, but It's just a little bit funny because this is kind of what we would have looked for more when you had the Zarya, when we were earlier
Yeah.
in this match, where it's like, hey, if your team is in front of you, you're obvious for them.
Yeah. So okay, so macro like thought then.
Mhm.
When I play with like a Sigma or a Rhine, how is the positioning there? Am I more like the flanky Winston? Am I more like the frontline Winston, like behind their shield and like getting cleave? Like,
Sure. So the answer is, of course, it depends, but having those two makes your team more likely to be comfortable with you playing the flanky Winston. So, like, your team is less likely to just rage and tilt and be like, we don't have a shield, blah, blah, blah. On the other hand, you can enable some pretty serious Reinhardt aggression by playing with your Reinhardt and effectively your bubble letting him swing, right? Like, you just
Right.
bubble a bit ahead of him and he's allowed to go,
Right,
what?
right.
I get to keep swinging? Likewise, your Sigma might be used to having to play core Sigma where he shoots down main, etc., or he might be playing on the side with your Casty. If he's playing on the side with your Casty, he can hold the off angle, whatever. If he's playing with the core, you better go get an off angle. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay.
So it like, I don't know. Okay, maybe that
As
doesn't
a
make sense
tank
because
in
that answer kind
general-
of seems like bold.
As a tank in general, you're going to, how do I want to put this? You're pretty much just a Winston player. You don't really play the other tanks. As you get into playing any of the poke tanks and as you get into playing with off tanks more often, while perhaps playing an off tank yourself, you're going to sort of make it a habit to separate, to spread, to notice if you're stacked on top of the other tank and get away. Winston will sometimes with Reinhardt almost specifically ignore that because he'll go, hey, I can jump over to deal with a high ground soldier, whatever, that's fine. I can sneak up behind the enemies, that's fine. But I am also going to like as an engagement option to sort of just go deeper with my Reinhardt down main and give him a bubble because that is good. So I like that potentially with Reinhardt, but with all my other tanks, I'm basically in a place where I go, where's my tank? They didn't shower. I want to get away from them. Like that's sort of how I think about stuff where, oh, Sigma's down main, then I don't want to be. Oh, Sigma's on an off angle. Cool. I can cover main, that sort of thing. And it works the same way with most people where do I want to jump from the same direction as my diva? Not really. Not really on my list. So that's kind of how it works.
Yeah. So Sigma's like somewhere in between where like maybe you want to be with him, but usually not really at all. And then
like
Reinhardt, you actually might want to play with your Reinhardt. Like that might be a really
might, but you probably wouldn't do it every engage. Like you've got that option. So
also like map specific, like that's true too. But
yes.
Yeah.
So your Sigma's right here. So you might now go here, and you'd have gone here earlier. Tracer was here, so you might have thought to yourself, okay, do I want to be here with Tracer? That could be fine. We're still in a kill box. Or do I want to... Go ahead.
So when you hold the room you were just in,
Uh-huh.
that scares me because if I back up, I'm out of line of sight, and I might not be able to jump over.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have a hog and stuff like that. Like I might not be able to just like jump back to the back line.
Yeah.
So are you like hiding here, waiting, or like?
Yeah, I would let
what
them
is your
pass. I would
plan
not
here?
plan. If my team was set up here, I might be going, hey, I'm doing this, I'm zapping, I'm being annoying, whatever. But if my team is back here, I'm much more in a hide and sort of let you walk into my kill box. Winston doesn't have meaningful poke in Overwatch 1 anyways, and you'll certainly notice your Tracer was hiding the same way that I'm talking about you hiding. Where you're going, walk into my kill box, and then I'm going to walk forward and zap you, and that's what I'm talking about. And if you start... Go ahead.
I've done a similar strat going in the other side, like where those stairs are, and then walking to like in our angle to the right, like all the way down, and then going in the back line like that.
Yeah, and that's an option.
Kind of worked.
That's an option.
But
the
not really.
problem that I run into is if I'm here, I do have outs. I can try to jump back to my team like this, or I can go like this. If I'm hiding back here in some way, my team just has no way short of running. We'll run all the way out here to help you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, it's 90 degree versus 180 degree.
Right. Isn't amazing.
30 seconds remaining.
Sure. Okay, so I can live with this. It's not our favorite thing in the world how this happens. You use your bubble to try to hold this angle, which I can live with. Like, I understand why you did it. You're worried about, I mean, there's 2 tanks in your face. Yeah, I'm going to have to do it. But I'm looking at this, and I really would like to have a situation where, hey, can I potentially go deeper? Because I know that my Tracer is set up back here. We're not playing to kill their front line, are we?
Yeah.
And my Sigma's already got this under control. And this is the sort of thing where if I'd seen this, even if I was late, I might have gone over here as Winston, just because I can then creep my way forward, or I can walk in something better than holding this corner that my team is directly behind. That, like, again, if Hog and Sigma turn on me here and I bubble to protect myself, they get shot in the back. If I bubble to protect myself here, well, they still have easy cover options against my Ana and such if they don't like it.
Yeah, I follow you. Yeah.
Okay.
Staying away from Sigma is a helpful.
Enemies re-engaging.
10 seconds.
Good.
Adaptive circuits
Fine.
engaged.
Round 1 complete.
Okay, so we put together something on third. First point was a disaster. Second point had some issues. Okay.
Ready for
Imagination.
battle.
And then this attack,
Ready for battle.
I think, is a disaster. You might say differently, but I think it's a disaster.
Okay.
I'll
Ready for
when
battle.
we go up, can you like zoom out and like see the full setup?
4,
Sure.
3, 2, 1.
Because I'd like to do
Attackers
kind of the similar
incoming.
thing that we did the
Defend
first time.
objective A.
Okay, so I have the diva here,
Mm-hmm.
but I ran into a problem that this is like a really choky choke. Like, and they were holding the choke. Like,
Yep.
I usually try to jump from the attacker's perspective to the left, from our perspective to the right.
Yeah.
Like behind this tower, like
Yeah.
maybe stage, set up, like see where they're at, and then go from there.
Mhm.
But like the first engagement, they kind of fucked up and they were too far up, and I kind of did it. But I just like found that I didn't really know what to do, and I didn't feel like I had good options that weren't just hard engages.
Yeah.
And so what you'll see here is I just make hard engage after hard engage after hard engage, and I'm just like, my I like knew I didn't want to do it, but I didn't know like where the like soft engage was, so I didn't just like go all in.
There's all sorts of soft engages right now, but that's because they're pressed forward, right? So, like, easy soft engage, zap from above to push them back, scoot our butt into here. That allows our team to rotate a little bit, rotate out here. Like, you have all sorts of options right now, but that is because they're far forward. You have a couple options. We're going to have to see them. The other option, I don't think they ever fixed this one. You actually can roof surf this one and end up over here. It's a pain in the butt, but you can do it on Winston, and then you can circle back in like this. So that exists. It'll take some practice. It requires a,
Done that,
running
like years ago.
What's that?
I think I did that like years ago.
Right.
I
And
thought
that's
about it
not
for a long
like
time.
the strongest thing in the world, but the reality is if you're going, I can't get through the choke, well, now you can, right? So like, hey, it's something.
Okay.
But what we're really going to look at over here is we're going to say, okay, we have this, and we're going to have to see where they set up, because that's going to explain to you where your soft engage options are. Oh, there's a Sigma up top? Oh, the Sigma drops. No problem. Okay, my Tracer's pushing. I see this, and I can immediately see on my screen that I know where 4 of them are. The left is probably safe. I don't know that, but it's probably safe if I can get there. That is not left.
This will protect us.
Yeah. So my thought there was the Rhine is pushed up very far in comparison to the back line, and so I just wanted to like jump, bubble the Rhine off, and that was the plan.
Yep, I'd like to
I
see
think
the
I
Rhine a
should
little
have jumped
weaker.
to the left,
Yeah.
and then done the same thing though, because I could use the the structure.
No, I don't hate this. The problem is I don't look at this Rhine as weak enough yet. I think you felt the need to do this because the Sigma was here, and if you jumped directly left, you felt like, the Sigma, I need to drive the Sigma back first. Maybe that's what you felt.
Yeah.
No big deal. And then you swap to the Rhine because, hey, you're here, he's weak, whatever. I'm not super worried. We can deal. We got what we ultimately wanted.
And then right here, I don't know what to do.
Wait another second or two for your bubble, hold your space, or jump up and try to swat the mosquito in the air. Because my backline, go ahead.
Well, I know what to do for the next like 5 seconds.
Okay.
But I don't know what to do when like they rotate to point and I'm like I need to basically like a second engage.
Oh,
like
sure.
This is step 2 of the fight. I have no idea how to fight step 2 basically.
My next engage is going to be up here. Like, I'm going to let my Anna rotate up to here, where she's threatening, and then if everything is just set in a somewhat normal way, I'm probably going to go, hey, I have this if I want it, but I'm going to engage myself up to here. Anna has a sightline on me if she wants it. I can break line of sight into here. They don't have a diva to go push me into here and punish me out of my Anna's line of sight, and I zap them, through that. If they instead are going to hold this close, sure, we can do something different, but if they actually go back to point, this is probably what I'm looking to do. Make sense?
Okay.
So
I don't. It makes me very nervous to make that jump.
Okay.
I don't trust my Ana enough to make that jump.
But I don't have to trust her because even if she doesn't heal me, like I have a cover option, right? So like I do have a cover option. I can pretty easily make the enemies lose focus on me. Like I'm the tank. I'm pulling your attention. That's what I do. If this is too much attention, I don't like it. And I can make you lose attention on me pretty reliably. And then, there's a mini. That's not great, but it's something. Or I can circle through here. And again, it's a mini. It's not great, but it's something. But I can shed this attention if I have to. And turning the opponent around in the first place, sort of starting the fight, is providing your team some level of value here.
So if like instead of Sigma, they have Diva, that jump is much worse now, right?
Yes. That jump is much worse if they have Diva and she hasn't used boosters.
I might have found something here then. So I think I know why that jump is really scary. And I think it's because strategically I'm not thinking very much about if they can punish me. I don't know how to say this.
Sure.
Like I'm thinking when I jump there, I'll get punished. And I'm not really thinking how.
Right.
Like who is going to punish me.
Right.
And so I'm not really like abusing the lack of mobility their tank line has, because really the only person that can attack me is Echo, and she's like never gonna kill me.
You're just gonna like Echo wants to follow me into the house? Really?
Yeah, she's never gonna like I see what you mean. Like logically, like if I look at their specific comp, I can make that jump. But I don't. Maybe I'm not looking at their specific comp enough to make the plan to make this engagement.
It could be. That's a very real possibility where you just sort of find things that you respect, because you have to figure out a way in here, and you've only got so many ways in, right? You can try to walk at them using cover. You can try to sort of like jump in and then scamper out. You can walk in this way. Maybe you could come in over here. Maybe you could circle all the way like this. This last one is just going to take forever and isn't really real. So your options really become, I'm going to do some sort of relatively hard dive into here. Am I going to circle around here? Am I going to walk, or am I going to take high ground? And yeah, if you like, you just sort of start looking for what can punish me if I take some of these high ground spots, because high ground jumps for you as Winston. I mean, I don't really know how to put this. You look for high ground opportunities for a tiered engage when you don't have a Zarya, and when the tools that would punish you for taking that aren't really there, right? Like that would be Diva, that could be a couple other things, but mostly that would be Diva that we're talking about as Winston. So yeah, I mean, again, how else are you going to walk into this? You sort of look at this and go, well, I could push these guys back first. Well, no, your Tracer's already done it. So the only other way we would look to engage into this is we might go, okay, I'll wait until I see shots connect, or until I see Echo use flight, or, something along those lines. mean, that was a feat. If you wanted to engage on this point without, without jumping to the high grounds, you sort of know that you either had to find an opportunity where you think you could walk onto point, or you had to walk around the outside. Like, you couldn't really jump onto this without a Zarya bubble.
I thought my Ana was going to be able to heal me there.
I'm pretty sure your Ana wasn't set up yet.
She was a choke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I really like. I really think that was interesting. Like the like thought process. I like waited a pretty long time there, and I kind of just assumed that the Ana was like where you would think she was,
Right.
like rotated.
Yep.
And I jumped thinking that I could just get like hard pocketed and I would just like create the space
Right.
and I just like get pocketed. And then, but I never like checked if the Ana had rotated.
Yep.
So that was like an assumption.
And you're going to find as you move up that you're going to, as Winston, be checking on your Ana, your BAP, your Zen, whatever, quite a bit more in down phases. Because you created, like, Winston has down phases where there's not a ton of things you can be doing anyways, right? We're sort of talking about these where you took, I mean, we just had one. We just had one of these where you got here, you don't have bubble. You can try to zap stuff away. You can check places to make sure that enemies don't round corners on you. But this is all sorts of time to check on our Ana. And, let's just see what she did. Okay, and she's reloading. And she should have been rotating during this time, but she's reloading, and that's sort of understandable. Now she's just trolling you, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, I was a little frustrated that like watching this replay. I was a little frustrated the Ana didn't rotate, but that wasn't why we lost. The fact of the matter is, when I was like at the tower, I was staring at the tower, and I could have just as easily
checked on
stared
her.
180 degrees behind me and seen where everybody was, and yeah.
Yep.
I'm
just
realizing
hold
that
your
the
space
scouting.
Yeah.
I'm
Exactly.
realizing there's like a lot of advanced, like much more aggressive or advanced plays I can make if I scout well, and two, trust my scouting. Like if I'm sitting there and I just think basically two things, like has my Ana rotated, and two, can they abuse, like if I get on a high ground, can they abuse it?
Mm-hmm.
I could make like in my opinion, like a fairly advanced jump to that high ground where I'm like behind their back line, I'm creating tons of pressure and they can't really do anything about it.
Right.
But I just like don't trust my like scouting enough, because obviously I'm staring into the tower. Like of course I'm not scouting enough. and so as a result, I'm never like confident enough to make like a jump like that.
Sure. I get it. And scouting's hard on Winston because you peek and you take 300 damage. And you're like, oh, fine, I have to wait to get healed again. Like, I get it, but you're going to get better at figuring out when you can scout. Like, oh, my tracer pulled attention over here because your tracer did pull attention over here. This is the moment to peek. Oh, I jump up and zap the echo up here to make her leave, then land. Now I'm going to open the angle for just an instant because I sort of established myself as up here, even though obviously I don't fly and I'm not going to stay up here. It's, how opponents' sightlines get pulled. Why are we still here? Why are we still... Okay, whatever.
I was there. Okay, my thought was just like, I'm going to charge up Primal because I don't know how else I'm going to...
I mean, you had leave, but okay.
That's why I didn't jump out. It might be. It was probably dumb, but I was so lost on this point. I'm like, I have to get Primal or I'm going to lose. So I just like tried to get as much charge as I could.
I see. Okay, so now we're here. We need to figure out where to go, and left is pretty cheap. Yes, Echo is going to hold down left, but
left, yeah.
You can take left.
I'm pretty sure I got to the tower again.
Plus, you guys have a, Zen turret behind them, so you'll be fine. Now you're circling right to help herd them in. Works
like
amazing.
right now, I should
Would
check
be great.
sports.
Exactly, to check on your
Right.
Ana. I can pretty much guarantee that your Ana can't support this right now, but you're right in that your Zen is in trouble, but did you know your Zen was in this much trouble?
I didn't know.
I don't
even
think-
know how he's there.
I don't think you made this jump knowing your Zen was in trouble. I think
No.
he says, like, this is the right play because your Zen is in trouble and your Tracer is set up or about to be set up, but I don't think you know your Zen is in trouble yet. Yeah.
No. I just noticed my Zen was. But that's kind of what I mean, right? I actually really think scouting was a huge issue here, both on like offensive scouting, like scouting the enemy, and
Right.
scouting my own team.
Yeah. More scouting your own team, and that's the easier one to fix, which is the good news. But yes, scouting the enemy as well.
Right. I mean, for what it's worth, like you saw me like spinning around a little bit. Like I am like thinking about it.
Oh, it's just hard. I get it.
I think I'm thinking about it until like
Pardon me.
3 seconds before I make the jump,
Yep.
and it should be like half a second before I make the jump.
You got it.
And then, yeah, and so there's that like delay of the scouting, and then that just completely throws off everything.
Everyone.
All good. We'll get there. That's what these are for. Okay, so you're holding back a little bit because you're waiting for your team to be here. Good. I don't know why are you trying to charge up nano?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the point. I saw her; she was at like 75 or something when I sat down.
Yep.
here.
Nanoboost is ready.
Now
Get in there.
you're gonna take more damage. Oh no, now magically they're not gonna shoot at you. Cool.
My ultimate.
Okay.
My
So this happens, and again, you're gonna choose the backline this time. Fine. Okay. I've got 2 questions.
No one can support me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to hard carry.
Mm-hmm. So we look at this,
ultimate is fully charged. Get in your.
and again,
That
I
was
was expecting a
stupid
shallower jump where you were just like, let me push back this Sigma. That's what I was expecting here, because you know Reinhardt's over here, so you went, let me push back Sigma, and that'll let my team walk in. I was totally ready for that. I don't know why we went this deep. Fortunately, Tracer's going deep too, but I think Tracer's still setting up, to be honest. Yeah, Tracer's out of blinks. Tracer was setting up. Tracer is okay. I'm also not totally sure about this bubble. Like, you drop this bubble immediately. What CC are you worried about?
That's another scouting thing. Like I just reactively drop bubbles when I make hard engages like that because I'm so used to playing against hogs and like
Right.
tons of CC. But this comp doesn't have it.
The rock is the only thing you're worried about.
Yeah,
And
and that's not that scary.
right. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'd really like to have this bubble available for 4 seconds from now, 3 seconds from now, when
yeah.
my nano is closer to wearing off, when Anna can actually use me not taking damage to heal me. Anna can't heal you right now while your bubble's taking your damage for you because you're already full, sort of thing.
Winston. Help me.
Okay. Should I have primaled the Mercy there?
No, this is fine. This is totally fine. I don't need
Because
this-
she was like 1, and I think if I like primaled and I had the jump reset, I might be able to kill her.
Sure.
But now I definitely can't.
Yeah,
And I
but
end
look
up
at this
primaling anyways.
beautiful cleave that you're getting into Lamp, into both supports, into the tanks. Like, I don't mind at all what's out. I hate that you dropped, but I don't mind at all what's happening here. Oh, okay.
You don't like that?
But do I like you getting shattered? No, I don't.
The primal.
I mean, I look at this and I'd have preferred not to primal because I'm looking at this and I'm going to be honest. You're primaling purely for offensive value here. When I've already got a really good offensive spot, I can stand on this corner and look at how much I'm doing. Like, they're not paying any attention to you. I can literally stand on this corner, be cleaving the lamp, be cleaving at least. I'm going to get at least 4 targets if I zap from here, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to primal because, like, I'm primaling for more offensive value, but, like, why? I was getting such good offensive value. My primal is another tool. It's another option. I might
full
primal when I get to my reload to skip my reload, but I'm not even convinced I would. If these guys separate more, I probably would. But, like, if they're just not going to do anything, I don't need the mobility. I have such a good cleave option right here. Yeah.
Yeah, my thought, I think, was that my thought was just like seeing the geometry of like I can hit the BAP into the room and like pin him,
Sure,
and then I
but
fucked that up and he
he'll
was
have a
about.
mercy attached to him the whole time, and you'll cry that he
Yeah.
doesn't die. I mean, it's,
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right. I should have just like held the high ground and cleaved, and
yeah, like
it would have
don't
done a lot more damage even than the best like highest skilled primal here.
Right,
Didn't do more
like-
damage than just sitting there.
don't get me wrong. You can force an elimination more easily yourself with primal than you can with this. But if I'm cleaving a lamp plus 3 other people, or a lamp even plus 2 other people, and the others are having to avoid my cleave, whatever, my team is not going to mess this up. Like I believe that my diva is going to kill someone if the healers are healing each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like
right.
something is going to happen. If I just apply this much pressure to the other team.
Yeah, no, this was a very important.
And this ends up... Okay, there we go. Get him. Fine.
Barrier up.
We're going to pretend that bubble did anything.
It did block the BAP heals, didn't it?
Sure. I mean, yes, it does block the BAP heals, but
Barrier
I'm
up.
looking at this. Yeah.
Alright,
60
And then I get carried.
seconds remaining.
Little bit.
Second in the game.
oh, I get hard carried by Krieger.
Hi.
There's one, there's two.
This will protect us.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I couldn't find the Ana.
Yeah. Okay, no big. She's coming back, I think. Yeah. So...
Yeah.
it's not the worst thing in the world, but this is the sort of thing where we're just going to play to live a little more, because we look at this, we see this. I'm looking at this and going, I know I want to get on the BAP. I know that what's here is roughly the BAP and the Reinhardt. I could fight the Reinhardt, but are you going to contribute to killing the Reinhardt while a BAP is still alive?
No.
You might be able to wall him off with a bubble and deny heals, but I don't know how healthy the Reinhardt is. So I'm probably hanging out over here, just trying to stay away from the BAP until my jump is back. Yeah. So I don't like this. You get super weak as a result of this. And
Oh yeah, you're right. At least stay out of the range of the hammer.
Exactly. And now I'd honestly just probably be chilling over here unless you hear the soldier footsteps. If you hear the soldier footsteps and that's why you're running, so be it. But yeah.
I don't remember if I heard the soldier footsteps. I don't think I
30
did.
seconds
maybe.
remaining.
Fortunately,
Maybe.
your team is gonna put it together.
I told you. Look at Crew,
Yeah.
man. Look at him go.
He found him. He found the shots.
Scott, the
I created space and he took advantage of it.
Tactical inting. Okay, so. Sure, fine. You leave. No problem.
Yep.
You disclose the angle. There's nothing you can do. Oh boy, your team wants to do something.
I was never gonna like hard engage in the high ground there. I just like
No, I was totally
saw
fine
the-
with your engage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm less fine with this one, but
This will protect us.
I know what else to do here. Like what's the plan on the second jump? Like
sure.
you keep going for the soldier?
Well, yeah, here I would have just said, hey, let's go try and finish off the soldier. That's what I'd have said in this particular situation. If you want to go, hey, I want to pressure these guys again, I'm okay with that, but there's no way you're getting me this deep into, like, look how deep you are onto this platform. The only reason I'm coming up to this platform in the first place is to make these guys back off a bit so that we can keep pushing cart. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not actually trying to kill anything.
Keep soft diving basically.
Right, exactly.
And I'm hard diving.
Right, and your diva sees your hard dive and is like, I guess we're gonna make a play.
That's a good cleave.
You guys are about to get rolled. Okay.
We didn't get rolled.
You didn't get rolled. You guys spent a bunch of ultimates for space and then didn't get rolled because they messed up their flux. But I'll take it.
Hard
Spent a bunch
Nano
of
boost is ready.
Can we just use Creole?
I mean, there was the self-destruct that was to cover your deep dive
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
before
basically
that, yeah.
just time that the card is pushing, that your team is rotating. Then there was the high noon. You know, it's like, okay, well, that's a third of your ult bank. You know, that's a third of the ult bank that we've spent for... Are we getting eliminations as a result of these? Like, you know, what's happened? Are we forcing their ults in return? No.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Tell me more about this bubble.
You're powered up.
Huzzah! You have 50% damage reduction. You have 480 health.
feeling powerful.
Now the soldier knows exactly where he needs to stand to not get zapped.
Barrier up.
Okay.
Not that close.
Oh boy.
Here's
It's nice
another-
knowing you.
Yeah, this is me forcing a primal.
Well, the reason you did this prime was you were dead if you didn't. Like, this is...
No, the reason I pushed this far up was because I had primal. That's the problem.
Correct. Correct.
I shouldn't push this far up with primal. It goes back to what you already said about like
Yes.
it should like help a good play. It actually that has legitimately probably almost doubled my primal rage kills.
Love
I'm
it.
not kidding. Like
Love it.
I've actually played. I've had much better primal rages recently because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really thinking about my engage as like I have primal. I have to hard engage on somebody. It's just like I keep going with the same thought processes of other engages. Somebody gets low and I like primal to finish or something like that.
Yep.
Like
Exactly.
it has actually been very helpful. I think the nano thing will be helpful too. I think I can do more with the nano stuff.
Good.
How embarrassing.
Okay.
Another dumb bubble.
It's not the worst bubble in the world. It's not a great bubble, but I'm looking at this, and what you're doing here, I wouldn't want you to bubble this immediately if the Reinhardt was full health, because it just doesn't do anything. But I'm kind of looking at this, and I'm going, you got him down a little. I'd have liked this Reinhardt to be weaker, like basically out of armor, before this bubble goes down, because usually they're going to be able to get through bubbles too quickly if that's not the case. And also, bubble
Would be
players
really
work better
cool
against
if I had
Anna than
primal
Bell.
right now.
Okay. It would, but look at how great the cleave is going to be from up here. So, you know... Well, if Tracer didn't just grab everything. But I also wouldn't have landed on this. I'd have just happily been like, I can literally
I
land
honestly
here.
don't think I meant to.
Okay.
I think I had the plan of land there, and I just didn't. Like, I don't know why.
Sure. Leave. Good.
And we cap.
60 seconds remaining.
Oh wait.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Winston.
I'm pretty sure she already has primal. Yeah, okay.
Being cap.
Yeah, I see that. I see how this game ends.
Re-engaging.
We should have capped.
You should.
I don't really know how we didn't cap it.
I mean, we can go check.
Should I not have primal there, or should I just? Was that like a dumb primal?
I wasn't in love with the primal because, again, we'll go back because we're here now.
The cleave is so good.
The cleave is so good, and it's sort of like you're changing your tool option. So here you are, you do this, and this is the sort of thing where I'm good with it. The only reason... Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Like,
you did your
Right
full
there,
reload.
I have I have a 4-man cleave there.
Right, like this is what's bothering me.
I never think about
If you primal here, sure, whatever. Because what you're doing is you're just going, I don't want to wait through my reload, right? Like you just landed on them, etc. But look at this. You just
Such
finished
a
your,
good cleave, yeah. Yeah.
you just finished your reload. You have a great cleave in front of you. You're not in any health trouble at all. Like, this is, yeah.
I've never thought about using Primal for the reload.
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
also never thought about using Primal when I have a good cleave opportunity. I actually might unconsciously do the opposite of I see a bunch of people and I'm like, oh, I can knock a bunch of people around.
yeah, no, I hear
It's not
you,
really
but that's
correct.
it's not exactly what we want because when you primal them, they tend to spread out. When you zap them, they stay there, and Tracer just goes, everything I shoot at dies. It's great.
Right. This was a lot of damage I missed out on.
It was.
I try to like spill
I mean,
back
we
out
could
of
go
it.
back further and figure out how did they actually survive long enough. But I suspect what it was you guys were down to 3 or 4 people when their last touch, and they just have
And
such
they had
a spawn
the
advantage.
Echo ult too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have 4.
60 seconds.
Tracer's
remaining.
here. Echo's right behind. Yeah.
Oh,
And then they have the
Kree
duplicate.
walks to spawn.
Does he get caught?
Kree.
No, he's
Look
just
at
not
Kree.
accomplishing
He's
anything.
just not doing
I see him.
anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's just
Adaptive
me and
circuits
Diva shooting
engaged.
2
Yep.
DPS
Winston.
that are
Yep.
not very good for Diva.
Yep, that'll do it.
And now Kree's back.
Yeah. He was
I mean,
thinking
that's
that,
what I
hey, I'll
think.
let the
That's
two of
funny.
you fight Tracer while I'll stop the next person, but the next person's already through.
30 seconds. remaining.
Yeah, he gets the wrong side. Okay.
To raise my APM.
Oh, this was really interesting.
Re-engaging.
Did you swap Wrecking Ball and go win by getting there in time? No, I'm kidding.
No, I mean, this is over. Like, I just mean the VOD was
Gotcha.
very interesting.
Yeah, I
Overtime.
can see you guys are in trouble. You're jumping on tanks. Yeah, there's nothing here. Okay, fine. So I'd say we have some important things for you to work on here. So I've got probably a few things floating around in my head. What's floating around in your head after this one? Let's put it, pencil to paper here. What's
about
important?
this. Okay, so first of all, scouting.
Yep.
That's like the highest thing. I've tried to do it a little bit, but the big scouting problem I see is I will kind of scout at like the very early pre-fight, but at
Mhm.
the end of the pre-fight, I don't know exactly where my team is.
Right.
So like one of the walk-ups on the first point, you could see me like look back, my honest here, look back like the Diva's here, and then I'm just like look forward, where is the enemy?
Right.
And it should be like, okay, has Ana rotated yet? Has Diva rotated with me? Am I like all of those things? The second big thing with scouting more specifically is the enemy team of just like, can they abuse me if I go to this spot?
Right.
Like some comps will, some comps won't. Or when I hard engage, do I need to bubble immediately? Some comps you will, probably most comps nowadays you will, but not all comps. And I think that's probably it for scouting. Like,
Okay.
and then like combining the scouting with like actually timing things correctly and stuff. Maybe like the third thing with scouting would be like on the bridge of really like putting an emphasis on scouting during like downtimes, not just during the pre-fight, but like during the mid-fight, like doing everything you can to like scout and like that kind of stuff. Another point you made with scouting was like peek a corner when when my tracer was distracting them, like you can see that through the wall and then you can peek real quick and then you
Yep.
don't take poke damage. That's a good way to do it. Moving from that, let's see. The nano usage is actually really interesting too.
Okay.
Using nano as a normal, like just like making a normal engage even better.
Mhm.
Instead of just like all in, and then as well as you have 50% damage reduction on nano. Unless you're gonna block CC, you don't really need the bubble right away. You can like greet
Right.
it even more than normal.
Absolutely.
And so that's pretty important. And then probably the second like big quote unquote big idea is the primal rage usage of if you are going to do more like DPS output with your Tesla cannon, don't primal rage. So like
Right.
if you
I
can
mean,
get a
your
big
health may
cleave,
mandate it, but yes.
right. Like if you can get a big cleave, just get the big cleave. And then
Yes.
when that goes away because you reload or because they run away or you go low health, then you can primal. But the cleave damage is so strong that like yeah, like I probably missed out on like 2,000 damage.
Right.
Like
Primal is
I think
kind
it
of
was a
greedy,
lot.
like, I'm gonna go get kills, which is great, but, like, remember, you are a tank, you're enabling other people to get kills. If I primal people away, they don't all get hit by the Anonade. If I primal people away, they don't all get Genji dashed through. If I zap them all, Genji dash, nade, Tracer just rolling shots across, it becomes easier to get the follow-ups. You got it. So you put a ton of stuff under the scouting umbrella, and I'm okay with that, but I don't want you to overwhelm yourself and go into a game going, I'm working on my scouting. I want that to be a little bit more focused, and that could be as simple as, okay, for the next 5 games, I'm really making sure that within a second or half a second of me walking in, or of me either starting my final rotation towards the enemy or jumping in, I know where my Ana is, or BAP, or whatever, and I know where my aggressive DPS are. You know, an aggressive DPS, an aggressive off tank, but those things. I don't care where your Lucio is, where your Mercy is, but I want to know where a Tracer is, where a Casty is. If a Casty's with my Ana, so be it, but like I want to know, is my Casty rotating? Then I don't want to engage yet. So like I want a lot of attention to where your team is set up before you go in. And yes, I do want that good second, half second before you start going in, or, you know, within that time you've done your check on them. So that would be the most important thing I would put there. I think that's good to go with. I would not put the bubble usage under the scouting umbrella like you have. I would say bubble usage, it's still important. It really does become important because even against some of these comps that have flashbangs, hooks, things like that, you have to be conscious of what you're blocking with your bubble, because I don't want you to bubble when the Casty is on an off angle and not in the Ana fight. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, in the BAP fight, because you might bop the Ana for that. So I do want to be careful with that. I think, yes, you do want to work on your enemy scouting as well. You do absolutely want to think about what options are on the table. You do want to think about the game a little more in terms of punishes. And yes, your bubble blocks and punishes, but there's other punishes that come up too. Oh, I can go up, I can take this angle because I know Wrecking Ball is on the other side of the map right now, even though usually Wrecking Ball would punish me for taking this flank. I can go do this because I know we just forced Sombra out. I can go in right now because Echo just used fly, and I'm going to go, I'm literally playing to punish the Echo that just used flight, as an example, you know, that sort of thing. So playing the game a little bit more in terms of punishes, definitely there, but that's a broader category that I think we'll probably go deeper into in a future session. I think your biggest takeaway here is going to be scouting stuff, team scouting, less enemy scouting, but team scouting for sure. And then I would go, I think it's going to be pretty easy for you to implement some of these primal adjustments that we've talked about, the nano stuff that we've talked about. I don't think that's going to overwhelm you to have in there as well.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. I agree. I really think the scouting is probably a really big issue for me.
It's the big one.
Because I think if you like we're zooming out in all these fights, but like if you only looked at like my character and you like turned off the red lines, I really don't have information. Like
Right.
especially I'm not on like comms and stuff, like people aren't telling me where people are. So like almost like probably 80% of my dives are just like me imagining where the team, like the enemy team is, and not really like, oh, the BAP is on the high ground and I can dive the high ground and that's where I'm going. Like it's just kind of yeet.
Yeah, and that's
and
not going to work. It works a little better when you have Anazaria, but that's not going to work. And this is probably a holdover of your previous style was very ninja, sneak up on them, etc. I know you were playing some of that before we started working together, which is good. That's a good style to have, which sort of hid some of your not knowing where they were stuff, or caused you to know where they were as you were sneaking. And then you have this Anazaria style, which I can see you moved a little bit away from some of the harder engages, which is fine, except that, what am I trying to say? You do need these information when, you know, you aren't doing those. And even when you do have the, you know, that insane level of support, you'd still like the information.
Yeah, I totally follow you.
Great.
I'm pretty surprised I don't know, like looking at the like when you said like when we broke down the high ground dive that like
Mhm.
you're like well, you can dive here, and I am just like I'd love to dive there. There's no way I could ever do that. And then just like thinking it through actually is a pretty big change because like if in that spot like if your Ana has rotated and you know that their enemy doesn't have a diva or things like that that they can like stop you, there's no reason you can't do that.
Right.
I just never have that information in my head, so I never make a play like that. And then I'm always like forced to just make those kind of like half-ass like dives that are kind of like half all in and half soft engage, and then
Right.
they're like half a Winston basically. They're not like I'm not putting all of the resources in. I'm not changing the angles or anything like that. It
Exactly.
makes a lot of sense.
Good. Good.
Makes a lot of sense.